that goes with this melody is part of the Exodus story. We're still in Passover, I think until sunset, right?
That's right.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Okay, good.
Good. Move right along.
Okay,
move
great.
right along.
I'm only saying that. Because we're doing some farewell Passover moments, and this is one of them. And if you turn just in your prayer book, I'm going to give you the words to this. I just remembered that the words are here. So if you turn to page, if you turn to page, there we go, 343 at the bottom. This is part of the song of the sea that Miriam sang after the sea parted, which is part of our Exodus story.
And it's outside the brackets, right?
Oh, sorry, thank you.
It's so confusing.
Yeah, all the page numbers are outside of the brackets. So the words say, Ozi v'zimrat ya vayehi li lishua, and I will give you my translation, which says that my power, v'zimrat ya, and God's song, vayehi li lishua, and that will be what saves me, what redeems me. My song and God's power will save me. Ozi v'zimrat ya vayehi li lishua. Let's try that again. Ozi v'zimrat ya vayehi li lishua. Now there's just a higher part of it. Ozi v'zimrat ya vayehi li lishua. 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 Ozi v'zimrat ya vayehi li lishua.
Chag Sameach, however you count it.
Sameach.
It is still Passover and Shabbat Shalom. The first thing we're going to do if you're here in the sanctuary, and welcome to everyone who is streaming in and everyone who's here in person. If you're here in the room, I just want to make sure if you turn to page 2 outside the brackets, page 2, it should say Blessings for Shabbat. If you see that, then you have the right book. But if you have something completely different that has nothing to do with the Shabbat candle blessings, you can go back and request the correct prayer book. We keep you on your toes here. We're so glad to welcome everyone. Because we're the Jewish people, we have an ongoing friendly debate about whether we eat matzah for 7 days, as many do, or 8 days, as many do. How many 7-day people? You can wave your hand if you're online as well. We've got some 7 days here. So I'll tell you, 7 days, today is the 7th day, but it's not until the sun goes down. So when you go out of this service, you will see matzah, just giving you that fair warning. Any 8-day people here? Oh, look at this. Wow, our 8 days are out in full force. Well, tomorrow night, the pizza is for you tomorrow night. And I hope that whether you are a 7-day matzah eater or an 8-day matzah eater, or you had some the first night and never looked back, that it was a good, meaningful Passover holiday for you. And I'll just let you know that Passover falls next year on April 5th, 2023, so you can start planning now how you're going to deal with Wednesday night, Thursday night Seders. And we're always moving around this cycle and around this circle. And speaking of cycles, it's not just holidays, it's life as well. And we're so proud that Izzy Perman is going to celebrate her bat mitzvah and be called to Torah tomorrow. Her family is here in numbers. We're so glad you're all here, and from wherever you come. And we'd love to invite Izzy and her family to come up and light the Shabbat lights. We're on page 2, outside the brackets.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Mazel Tov, Izzy, and Shabbat Shalom. We'll have you back up for Kiddush at the end of this service. We're on page 20 outside of the brackets, and again, one of our many ways that we greet and welcome in Shabbat. And at the last paragraph, we'll all turn around and sing Bowie and really welcome in Shabbat, and we'll turn back around again.
יאללה לילה אחד דודי, יאללה לילה לקראת קלה, יאללה לילה בני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לילה אחד דודי, יאללה לילה לקראת קלה, יאללה לילה בני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבורך, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. יאללה לילה אחד דודי, יאללה לילה לקראת קלה, יאללה לילה בני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לילה אחד דודי, יאללה לילה לקראת קלה, יאללה לילה בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יאללה לילה אחד דודי, יאללה לילה לקראת קלה, יאללה לילה בני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לילה אחד דודי, יאללה לילה לקראת קלה, יאללה לילה בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. יאללה לילה אחד דודי, יאללה לילה לקראת קלה, יאללה לילה בני שבת נקבלה. יאללה לילה אחד דודי, יאללה לילה בני קלה, יאללה לילה בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשמחה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, יאללה לילה אחד דודי,
Do some yellow lying. It's good. It's good. It's good for the soul, good for the body. I'm going to have you turn back with me for a moment to page 7 outside the brackets. A little later on, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Jewish practice of counting the Omer. And you might know all about that or not have any idea what I'm talking about. But this reading really sets the intention of really holding on to the days and thinking about each day that we get the chance to live. So I invite you to read this prayer together with me on page 7. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Shabbat, abide. We sing Shalom Aleichem, and I hope if you are streaming into this service, you'll sing loud and off-key or on-key. And if you're in this room, you'll sing loud, on-key, or off-key.
The more out of key voices, the better. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachi Shalom, Malachi Elyon, Melech Malachi HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ya Elai, Ya Elai, La La La, Ya La La, Ya Elai, Ya Elai, Ya Elai, La La La, Ya La La La, Ya Elai, Ya Elai, Baruchuni לשלום, מלכי שלום, מלכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלכי שלום, מלכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. יא אלוהי, יא אלוהי, יא אלוהי, יא
That first English prayer we did had to do with really thinking about time and the passage of time and holding on to it and counting our days. This one at the bottom of page 25 is really helping us think about who we are in the world and the potential that we have to be there at just the right moment for other people. So I invite you to read this and try to internalize this a little bit for yourself as we each read this together. And so we understand that ordinary people are messengers of the Most High. They go about their tasks in holy anonymity, often even unknown to themselves. Yet if they had not been there, if they had not said what they said or did what they did, it would not be the way it is now. We would not be the way we are now. Never forget that you too, yourself, may be a messenger, perhaps even one whose errand extends over several lifetimes. We rise for Baruch Hu, page 28.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. ברכו את אדוני המפורח
We turn to page 31 outside the brackets, and we pray these words together at the top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows.
ומעביר יום ומפי לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו,
Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Avad. Please be seated. And we pray together, all of us together, at the top of page 37. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for your God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God.
We're so blessed to have these wonderful musicians with us. We have Joe Guthrie and Eitan Schillinger-Hyman at the far end, who grew up here and had his bar mitzvah with me. And then we have John Bayer. We all know John Bayer. He's an integral part of our community, and he's going to lead us in the Micha Mocha tonight.
So, if you can't get enough Pesach, this is a good one for you. And please do the response. When Israel was in Egypt land,
Let my people go.
oppressed so hard they could not stand.
Let my people go.
Go down, Moses. told Moses what to do.
Let my people go.
Send the children of Israel through.
Let my people go.
And when they reach the other shore,
Let my people go.
they sang the Micha Mocha over. Let my people go. On page 40, Micha Mocha. Elohim Adonai. Micha Mocha. Nedar Bakodesh. Norah Tehilot. Oh, Sefer Norah Tehilot. Oh, Sefer go down, Moses, we're down in Egypt land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go.
And here we are. We turn to page 43 in the prayer book, and we're going to take a few moments and think about people who could use a special blessing for healing of any kind.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
And we use all of our collective heart and will to pray for Misha Berach, for healing, for Frank Friedman, Rusty Holden, Michael Sims, Gregory Cole, David Anderson, Josh Jensen, Rabbi Ellen Weinberg Dreyfus, Phyllis Kuby, Herbert Thier, Alana Miriam Bat-Dvora, and Phyllis Fulmer. And I'd like to ask, if you're thinking of anyone who is not on this list, if you would call out their names to be wrapped into this blessing. Mishaberach Avotenu ve'imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who are ill. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us all say, Amen.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Oh, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. And we turn to we're in the Vishamru on page 44. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Shabbat. We turn now to our Amidah. We're on page 46, and those who are able to rise, please do.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל. Notice we made the change now since Pesach. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
The rabbis who created this Siddur, this order of prayers, they gave us the gift of this time either to complete the Amidah or to close your book and open your heart and to use this time for your own prayer. And please be seated when you are satisfied with your prayer.
Somebody asked me this year, Rabbi Beth, I think it was you, if I knew if anybody knew any other Dayenus than the Dayenu that we all know. And I remembered that I know this Sephardic Dayenu. It's a little slower, and you have a part. And you know, Dayenu, what we usually do at a Seder is like three little items on a really long list of things that if we just had that one thing, that would be Dayenu, which means we would be enough for us. The list says, we were freed from Egypt, if we had justice, if the sea didn't part for us, if we fed manna from heaven, for the Torah, for Shabbat, for life. The list is, and that's just still a little section of the list. It does go on, and you could make it go on for yourself as well. Anyway, and it goes like this, and you'll see you're going to have a little part. Kama malotovot lamakom aleinu ilu hotianu mimisraim velo asa bahem shefatim dayenu ilu asa bahem shefatim velo kara lanu et hayam Dayenu ilu kara lanu et hayam velo echilanu et haman Dayenu ilu echilanu et haman velo natan lanu et haTorah Dayenu ilu natan lanu et haTorah velo natan lanu et haShabbat Ilu natan lanu et haShabbat velo natan lanu et hachaim Ilu natan lanu et hachaim Dayenu. And of course you can keep that list going in your head.
Hello, Dayenu. It's not enough. We could use another tune. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. The Torah tells us, 7 days shall you eat matzah. And just like that, 7 days of eating matzah have come and almost gone. Summer is around the corner, and so we anticipate. Some are counting the days to a long-delayed trip to a far-away place. We're counting the days until that baby is born or that young adult of yours gets married. Me, I'm counting the days until stone fruit season, when I will seek out these sweetest, juiciest apricots and peaches. I will eat fresh blueberries every day as long as they are in season. In Judaism, counting days is a holy endeavor, but not as I just described. Sure, it's going to be wonderful when peach season rolls around, but Judaism contains practices that teach us to number our days, to realize that the act of being born is such an unexpected gift. Even in a congregation like ours, with multiple members living well into their hundreds, none of us knows how many days we will get, and none of us knows when our last day will be. So although it is delightful to anticipate something exciting coming up in the future, daily Jewish practice challenges us to live in each day and to see every day as its own gift. One Jewish practice I had never heard of in my Reform upbringing is the practice of counting the Omer. Do we have any Omer counters? I knew. I was just looking right over at Anita. And if you're an Omer counter, that is great. If this is not a familiar practice to you, let's unpack it. As with so many Jewish traditions, it starts in the Torah, which says, "And from that day on which you bring the offering, the day after Sabbath, you shall count 7 weeks. They must be complete. You must count until after the 7th week, 50 days. Then you shall bring an offering of new grain to the Most Holy." And that's from Leviticus. That's what the Torah tells us. Later, the rabbis decided that the Sabbath actually means Passover. In the Torah, the 50 days of counting falls between 2 harvests. So you see, Torah is a deeply agriculturally based expression of our faith. In Torah times, everyone was a farmer. The Omer of the Torah focuses on counting the 50 days from one harvest to the next as a practice of expressing gratitude to the Creator of all life for the food we have to enjoy. Only later did it become the custom in traditional homes to begin counting the Omer at the second Seder. And that was last Saturday night. So stop and think for a moment. Do you remember how you spent last Sunday a week ago? That was the first of 50 days of counting. And how about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and here we are. It is traditional to count the Omer as the night falls, so today has been the 6th day of the Omer. How do we account for these past 6 days of our life? When we're very young, time moves slow, too slow. Everything takes so long. A school day is interminable. The Seder can last forever. And maybe not for all, but for many of us, the older we get, the faster time goes by. A work week just disappears into oblivion. It can be hard to account for that time. Seasons also move more rapidly, especially spring and summer. For some, in old age, it all slows down again. Whatever our age, Judaism gives us this tool to take a 50-day period to stop and count each day as we're living in it, and to account for how we are living our lives and the choices we're making right now. Think of it as, like going off sugar for a month. It's a practice. It might actually be easier than going off sugar for a month. Each night when you sit down to dinner or after the sun sets or just before you go to bed, take a moment and think about where you are in this 50-day period that will end with the festival of Shavuot, the receiving of the Torah holiday, which will happen on June the 5th. You can do it old school and say the Al Sfirat HaOmer blessing, as we're all going to do in just a moment. And then there's a fancy way to count the 6 days, and then it starts including the number of weeks we counted. The traditional approach is meditative and beautiful and very easy to Google and follow. Or you can try the newfangled ways. You can download a Counting the Omer app. You could add each day of the Omer as a banner on your device calendar, your phone calendar from now to June 5th. Fans of the TV show, anyone like The Simpsons, the TV show, very funny show, that's right. You Google Counting the Homer. I was going to ask you if you got that, but you got it, Counting the Homer. And it tells you night by night how to count in accordance, exactly how to do it with just a click, with this age-old mindfulness discipline. In one of my favorite novels, The Sense of an Ending, Julian Barnes, this was written by Julian Barnes, the protagonist, a man in his 60s, reflects back on his life so far. But time, he thinks. He thinks about how time first grounds us and then confounds us. We thought we were being mature when we were only being safe. We imagined we were being responsible, but we were being cowardly. What we called realism turned out to be a way of avoiding things rather than facing them. Time gives us enough time, and our best supported decisions will seem wobbly, or our certainties whimsical. His words should give us pause as we contemplate these 43 as yet unlived days still ahead of us in this Omer practice. Judaism, with its cyclical nature, Omer counting, life moment red letter days, like a bat mitzvah tomorrow, is a veritable toolbox of practices for living in time and for seizing the time we have, whatever it is. It's great to look forward to upcoming getaways, life cycle events, or summer fruit. But this day, it's still light outside. It's still full of promise. One of the psalmists said, "The span of our life is 70 years and 10, or given strength 80 years. But the best of those years have trouble and sorrow. They pass by speedily, and we are in darkness. Teach us, therefore, to number our days, that we may attain a heart of wisdom." And that's what we want. Not to squander, not to sleep through it, or take for granted, just to number our days, each precious day, that we may attain a heart of wisdom. So I'd like to invite you to join with me. This is straight off the Counting the Homer website. And the blessing is the Baruch Atah that you know, and it ends Al Sfirat HaOmer, Al Sfirat HaOmer. So we say together, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al Sfirat HaOmer, hayom shiv'a yamim shehem shavua echad la'omer. Today is the 7th day, making 1 week of the Omer. For those who celebrated 8th day of Passover starts tonight.
And I'm going to teach you a little Omer song. And the chorus goes like this. And Sfirat HaOmer, you just need to, everybody say shell.
Shall
Sfirat HaOmer.
HaOmer.
Of the counting of the Omer, we say like this. Shel Sfirat HaOmer, Shel Sfirat HaOmer, Shel Sfirat HaOmer, Shel Sfirat HaOmer. שבריחו שכינתי, הנני מוכן ומזומן לקיים מצוות עשה, for the sake of unity. Could שבריחו שכינתי, I am ready to take upon myself the mitzvah of my Creator. Shel Sfirat HaOmer, Shel Sfirat HaOmer, Shel Sfirat HaOmer, Shel Sfirat HaOmer, Sheva Shabbatot, for 7 weeks. Timimoti, now there will be pure 7 weeks. Sheva Shabbatot, Timimoti, Shel Sfirat HaOmer, Shel Sfirat HaOmer, Shel Sfirat HaOmer, Shel Sfirat HaOmer.
As we start our concluding prayers, we're on page 282, and those who are able to, please rise for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים עומדים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. I want to say what a beautiful voices you are all in tonight. It's so lovely to have you singing.
It
in
is
our
beautiful,
sanctuary.
and I believe that everyone who's singing and while they're streaming in is also adding their beautiful voice. So please be seated. Page 291. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with the people we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, that their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. And as we turn to the Mourner's Kaddish on page 294, we mark a period of Shloshim, 30 days of mourning for these beloved in our community: Dawn, Khan, Robin, Owen, Bushby Wood, John Zwirling, Mark Kessler, Gerda Weissman Klein, Sharon Kaufman, Miriam Lipton, Rachel Brody, Kevin Casey, Lou Aronow, and Maxwell Myers. And we mark the yahrzeits of these beloved: Rowan Josephine Acton Fudernick, Ethel Alpert, Stanley O. Altschuler, Irving Bach, Elaine Balin, Jerome Balin, Dorothy F. Baum, Estelle Burke, Ina Berkeley, Eric Beanstalk, Louis G. Bilo, Richard Arthur Brenner, Mildred Rubenstein Casey, Helen Haim Cohen, Margaret Cooper, Evelyn L. Dennebeim, Betsy M. Eisendrath, Alan Fendrick, Anne Lucille Markowitz Feinberg, Ethel F. Firestone, Harold Freed, Helen Freed, Marcia Gallant, Dennis Gallagher, David Gershberg, Alice Gotthelf, Erna Granowski, Alice Havner, Bean Overton Joshua, Shana Inda Kabinskaya, Rosa Lewin Kurtz, Leo Leerberger, Alan Lewis, Ruth G. Litsky, David Lovitz, Robert May, Hildegard Mayer, Francis Etta Meth, Emmanuel Samuel Meth, Dr. Hakama Moalim, Simon Walter Newman, Seymour Neustadt, Hinda Pedot, Henry Phillips, Henriette C. Pick, Hilda Powell, Isaac Pritikin, Samuel S. Revo, Paul Rosen, Anne Rubenchick, Pearl Rudin, Miriam Siegel, Marvin Shaps, Maida Lang Scheinfield, Elaine Stoloff Schrag, Jill Snow, Pesha Soloff, Marshall Tillin, and Mildred Wexelblatt. If you're saying Kaddish for someone whose name was not on this list, would you please share their name with us now or in the chat? We invite our mourners to rise first. And then we ask our whole congregation to rise together as we bring comfort to one another with these words. Yitz gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol bet Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei rabbah mevarach la'olam ulmei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit ba'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit halev v'yit halal shemei dekudisha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yoshvei Tevel ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav,
And Izzy Perman, while we're waiting for you to go, pick up that beautiful Kiddush cup and come up here to lead us in the Kiddush. Couple things. One, I really want to especially thank Katie Poplin for, if you are holding the correct prayer book, it's thanks to Katie, who welcomed you warmly. And if anyone else would be interested in sometimes coming Friday night just to stand and smile and greet people and make sure they have the right prayer book, you should call our temple office and tell them you're interested in doing that, or tell me you're interested in doing that. Also, our office, I'm so proud of our staff. They've come back with this synopsis of just a few of the great activities that will be happening here. I'm not going to call them out, but one of the cover girls is here in the congregation tonight, and you can just go and greet everyone Shabbat Shalom until you find one of these great congregants in this room, in this very room. There's a lot more on our website. Let's see, do I want to say anything more before we mazel tov again? Izzy and your whole family that we're so happy to have with, and she will be called to Torah tomorrow morning. So she's going to lead us. You can even take the cover off the Kiddush cup and lead us all in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'avaru ratzonim filanu, zikaron lemase bereshit, kiyom tehillah lemikrai kodesh, zeher letziat mitzrayim, kivanu vaharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha ba'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat lechai. You get to give it a real sip or for 10 seconds. Whichever you choose, go for it. There you go. Mazel tov, mazel tov. I think we should say, next month is going to be Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel Independence Day. I think Israel's going to be a big 69 years old. And on Friday, May 6th,
We're going to have such a fun service. I hope you can all come to it. It's going to be in the main sanctuary. We have an Israeli, wonderful, I love him so much, Shimon Smith will be with us, a singer, songwriter, beautiful performer. In Israel, he was the voice of Shrek in the animated movie. Actually, he was the voice of the tiger, I forget the character. Anyway, but he's just a beloved Israeli performer and an American, song leader, cantorial soloist. Anyway, he'll be here May 6th. After the service is over, we're going to have like a beautiful Israeli delicacy feast in the courtyard. You don't want to miss that. And we'll have art tables for kids. We're going to have Israeli dancing. And we're also going to have live music in the courtyard. So why wouldn't you want to be here on Friday night, May 6th?
So be sure to mark your calendars.
Come with your families.
Mark your calendars. We'll still be counting the Omer. We do not have that great Israeli feast tonight, but we do have matzah, and we're glad for it. Shall we say a hamotzi?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'te'avon.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom. So good
Thanks
to
for
see
joining
all
us.
of you here tonight. So good to see you.